Welcome back with Grams and I for Metaphysical Tea Time with JD and Grams.
Hi, this is Graham. We're having our tea.
Last month we talked about the alternative endings for Easter and the Easter story, and I thought that was a really cool topic. I don't know about you guys, but this week we're going to go in a whole different direction, and we are talking about plants, communication between plants and between us and the plant world.
That's something I never thought about.
Um, and I know, Grandma, that you are very close to nature.
Yeah, I'm a farmer.
Yes, and Grandma's really been into the dirt for a long time.
That doesn't sound right.
Well, into the
I got
soil.
dirty hands.
Yes, into the soil, and not gossip, not that kind of dirt. Just
Oh,
into the
no,
soil.
no. No, we just have a good time and I learn a lot.
So
I'm never too old to learn something.
And it's funny because Grandma really has been growing things her whole life now. If I'm home, I get to grow stuff, but most of the time, sadly, they just wither and die. They get too much water, not enough water. I really should be forbidden from just keeping plants because while I love them and I can communicate with them, yes, that's strange, but we'll talk about it later. I cannot really grow things so well, and I think for me it's just the time commitment because you have to give your heart and soul when you are creating a
Oh,
garden.
my heavens. You got to start early in the morning and get at it all day.
Yep.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you've grown in your garden?
Oh, I'm going to say everything from soup to nuts, but we didn't grow soup. But we made soup with the tomatoes we grew, uh, and strange things like peanuts and okra, potatoes and
Mm.
sweet potatoes, white potatoes, anything. We planted everything.
Squash,
Squash, pumpkin,
zucchini. We
and
definitely have zucchini.
melons.
Yep.
And
Pumpkins. Pumpkins have randomly grown in our garden. We threw out a pumpkin from Halloween last year, and now it's at Dad's garden, not
we
Grammy's
threw it in
garden.
the compost pile.
Yes. Well, Dad, yeah, but it's located in the garden.
Yes.
And Dad's little compost pile produced some very nice pumpkins for the kids this year.
Oh, didn't they have a great time?
Oh, I wish I was here.
I know.
Some of my earliest memories before living here were coming and seeing the big tall corn and walking through the corn.
Yeah, favorite picture of you
Mm.
in the corn.
Uh, Blueberries. Grandma can be found picking blueberries
Oh, yes,
often.
that's my job.
Yep. Raspberries, although I think those are officially gone now.
No, Dad has planted some more on either side of the blueberry bushes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
right near the where he plants the gladiolas.
Hmm.
And yeah,
And there's extensive herbs and flowers.
asparagus.
We even have some pear and apple trees. It's a very nice garden.
It's country.
And we're even surrounded by farmland. I remember one time, straying off topic a little bit, I was 8 years old and very sick, and my mom comes in and she says, I think I have what you have. I'm hallucinating. I see a cow in the backyard. And I get up and look out the window and I go, "No, Mommy, there's two cows." And Dad comes running in the room. He's like, "Guess what? There's three cows." And so even though I was sick, we all kind of traipse out back, and sure enough, there's three
Oh
cows
yes,
out there.
the farmer, they the cows, the pigs, the turkeys.
I
The
don't think I've seen pigs over here. I have
Yeah,
seen.
when we first came here, we had pigs.
Oh,
Oh yes, not
um,
we, but the farmer did.
I did have a turkey show up at our door once when I was a teenager. That was kind of funny.
It's
And
a,
he was pretty tall. He was
it's
a
it's really country. It's fun.
It is. And
Yeah.
because of that, even though I can't really grow anything, I do have a fondness for plants and animals and rocks and the soil, and I'm also, for those of you who don't know, very Taurus. So kind of anything earth related I am very much a fan of.
Yeah.
Um
What I'm interested in you talking telling me about is the flowers talking? I never understood that.
Well, plants communicate in different ways. There is the telepathic way, and yes, I know I'm gonna sound a bit like a nut. Yes, I'm calling myself out. This is gonna sound weird, but frankly, not much weirder than anything else you're gonna find on this YouTube channel. Anyway, but early on in my metaphysical studies, now I had been reading cards on my own for years and years, and it runs in the family. Um,
Yeah, Meme used to read cards when she was a young girl.
and apparently she was very good.
She was.
Um, uh,
So you take after grandma.
mm,
Yeah.
and my and grandfather's mother, apparently we found out last year, had some spirit contact.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Um, so it does run in the family, and I've always been interested in the metaphysics, but I'd only been reading cards, and I went to a class, and it was like an intuitive development class, and they're like, okay, today we're going to read flowers. And I went, what? Now it was just me and this other girl, and we're given like each take snippets of flowers, we put them in a bag, and then we exchanged. And it was really a very profound thing for me, because I realized how quickly it took on the energy of the other person, and how it mirrored what was going on and what had happened in her life. And since then, I had begun doing flower readings, and I still do them occasionally. It's not my preferred way of reading, but what happens is when people pick a flower out of a bouquet, it speaks to their personality. Um, any flaws that are on the stem will reflect occurrences at different points in
Is
their
that
life.
so? Hmm.
Yep.
Gee.
And you read the stem almost like a timeline.
The stem and the flower.
Yep, and the leaves. The
Yeah.
leaves, for me anyway, talk about their career path.
Now,
So
when you talk about a rose that has thorns, does that have something to do with the flower? The
with the person,
no, with the flower talking?
not yet.
Ah,
So this is really right now with the flower reading. It's more of a intuitive me reading the person,
okay.
not necessarily the
I
flower.
see.
However, in doing all of these readings, one of the people that I had, been learning with alongside of, she was a peer. She and I will be the first to say I kind of thought she was a little off her gourd when I heard this. Um, she was like, "Now make sure you don't throw away the flowers.
Yeah.
They don't like to be thrown away." And I'm thinking, they don't like to be. Wait, what? And so it was very weird, and I'm trying to wrap my head around, they're talking to her, telling her they don't want to be thrown in the garbage.
Hmm.
And I'm going, that's kind of weird. But fast forward, one day I'm walking through the woods, and I noticed this tree had been carved into, and I felt the need to give the tree Reiki. I know it's kind of weird, but I did, and I'm kind of a weird person, so that's okay. I own it. So I put my hand on the tree, and the first thing I noticed was that the tree definitely took energy. It took it and then gave me back some. So it gave me back some healing energy, but it took it first. And I've noticed that with trees, that they will always take first, and then they'll give you
Hmm.
back energy.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed was that I could hear them talking. Now, obviously, they're not talking in words, but telepathically it's translated. Kind of like you can take a feeling from an animal and you can kind of feel the words. They don't speak, in our language, but we can understand them.
Yes, we can.
Um,
You can tell by the look in their eyes.
yes,
Sometimes you even know they smile. They're happy and
absolutely.
they dance on their little toenails.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But now trees, they don't really
Yeah, they can't
move
do that.
unless the wind is there.
Hmm.
But one of the things I did notice was I could hear almost as if when I hear my spirit guide.
Hmm.
And I heard them refer to themselves as them, not I. And I thought, whoa, so they're kind of like a little community, and it's like the one speaks for the whole. Well, later, much later, I ran across a documentary. And I am going to include a documentary in here on the links called not when animals, when plants talk.
Yeah.
Um, and it was done by PBS. It was a PBS special. I think maybe Nova.
Oh.
It might have been Nova.
Okay.
Um, and I found out in another documentary, which I don't even begin to remember, but they were saying that trees in a forest are grouped together, and there's even what's called a mother tree,
Yeah.
which is usually the big tree in the
Mm-hmm. Of
forest.
course, the seeds fall and new ones grow.
But they're underneath, their
Yeah.
roots actually connect.
Yeah.
So they're talking to each other
Yeah.
via a whole root system.
Uh-huh.
Think of the movie Avatar. It's actually quite similar, and if you Google it, you should be able to find it. Google how trees talk to one another or how trees are connected, something like that. It was really very cool.
We learn a lot from those documentaries.
I do like
Yeah.
documentaries.
Yeah.
Um, and so that was kind of when I first realized that, okay, this woman was not completely nuts. I got some plant communication as well. Um, and so now instead of throwing my flowers or plants out when they do die, because boy do they,
Yeah.
I do put them in the ground or like on the ground, and I'll let them kind of.
I'll put them in the compost.
I don't have a compost.
Well, that's what we do.
Yes. So yes, you can put them in the compost, or if you're like me, you can just put them outside and let them, disintegrate back into the ground. But plants also talk to one another. As I said, with trees, it's the root system.
Mm-hmm.
But when you cut grass, that wonderful smell that we're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
love the smell of fresh cut grass.
Fresh grass.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
One of my favorite smells in the springtime.
Yeah.
However, to the grass, it is actually a warning to all the other grass around it that there is danger. So it could be equivalent to us screaming for help. So yes, vegetarians.
That's sad to hear.
It is. You'll probably never smell grass the same way again.
Yeah.
But even with fresh cut
But I can
flowers.
understand. It's common sense.
Well, they're also communicating to any animals in the area that can help
Mm.
and that would benefit to come around and take care of the problem for the plants because the plants can't move. Plants are rooted. That's the hard part about being able to communicate, that they have to call others to their aid. Such as there's this tobacco plant where when a particular bug is munching on it, it will send out a chemical smell
Sure.
that alerts the predator of that bug to
Mm.
come and get it. And so it doesn't only communicate to the other plants, but it also communicates to the other animals in the area. Much like camouflage on those poison frogs,
Yeah.
how they wear the bright colors
Uh-huh.
that says to the predators, hey, don't eat me because you will
You'll
die.
die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for all my vegetarian friends, I am sorry, but plants can communicate and do just a little bit differently than we do. So, next time you smell that wonderful smell of fresh cut zucchini, or pick a mushroom and have that wonderful smell, it is kind of a cry for pain.
But we're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah. So whether you're meatitarian or vegetarian or omnivore, either way, you just honor the life that is
true.
helping you, and you
Just
honor the
say
life
thank
cycle.
you, gratitude.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Saying thank you. It was very much a Native American tradition, I believe, to give gratitude, or like when we say grace.
Yes.
It is very similar. So be grateful for any food that is on your plate, no matter where it comes from.
Flowers.
Or flowers in your vases, or plants in your garden.
And enjoy them.
Absolutely. In fact, we are drinking tea made from green leaves, so we give thanks for the tea that we are given, and
happy day.
Happy day, and Thank you guys for joining us. And if you have any questions about this, because gosh, we could go
Don't
on and
forget the
on.
documentary.
Yes, check out the documentary and please, by all means, uh, put comments in the comment section, or if you have another topic you'd like us to discuss, we definitely welcome your input and look forward to hearing from you. Many blessings and great day.
Bye bye.